Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we've got a fantastic, incredibly practical topic lined up for you. We are going to make a massive shift in how you interact with artificial intelligence. The goal today is super simple. We're going to take you from being a passive AI user, someone who just types in a prompt, crosses their fingers, and hopes for a good answer, and transform you into an active AI manager who commands professional-grade results literally every single time.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever fired off a question to an AI like ChatGPT, gotten back an answer that sounded incredibly confident, highly detailed, beautifully written, only to realize a few minutes later that it was completely and utterly wrong? Man, it is so frustrating, right? It really leaves us wondering, why on earth does AI sound so ridiculously confident even when it is just making things up out of thin air?
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The AI hallucination problem. 2. Vague prompts, vague answers. 3. The prompt pattern library. 4. How to verify AI outputs. And finally, number 5, essential do's and don'ts. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the AI hallucination problem, and understanding exactly why AI so confidently lies to us. Look, mastering AI is fundamentally about knowing when you absolutely shouldn't trust it. To get why AI makes these wild mistakes, we kind of have to look under the hood. An AI hallucination happens when large language models generate completely incorrect information, but they do it with absolute 100% confidence. Why? Because they're predicting words, guys, not looking up facts. It's basically like the predictive text on your smartphone, but on serious steroids. The AI isn't querying some universal database of truth. Honestly, it doesn't even actually know what it's saying. It is mathematically guessing the most likely next word in a sentence. And this is exactly why beginners fall into the trap of trusting AI way too quickly. The grammar is perfect, the structure is flawless, so it feels real even if the facts are totally fabricated.
And this brilliantly illustrates how these hallucinations show up in the real world. And it can be dangerous. You might ask for data, and boom, the AI confidently spits out fake statistics. It'll invent book references, complete with imaginary authors and totally fake publication dates. I mean, it's incredibly creative, but completely unhelpful. If you ask for scientific backing, it might conjure up entirely imaginary research papers that sound completely legit. Or, for the software engineers out there, it will gladly write incorrect coding solutions that look completely right at first glance, but will absolutely break your software. At the end of the day, AI just wants to please you, so if it doesn't know the answer, it's going to confidently invent one.
Moving right along to section 2, vague prompts, vague answers. This is all about the paradigm shift to precision. Since you are the one entirely in the driver's seat here, let's look at the stark contrast between an amateur and a professional prompt. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the difference in effort versus reward. An amateur just types, "Tell me about AI." And what happens? That vague prompt produces generic Wikipedia-style fluff that doesn't really help anybody. But a professional? They get precise. They say, "Explain retrieval augmented generation for a beginner using a real-world example in under 200 words." Just look at that. In one single sentence, we defined the topic, the target audience, the specific learning method, and a strict constraint. That level of precision is exactly what forces the AI to generate a highly valuable, usable answer. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. Section 3, the prompt pattern library. We're going to look at 7 proven structures that top professionals reuse all the time. Here's a secret. Professionals are not sitting around inventing brand new, magical prompts every single day. No way. They rely on a toolkit of proven structured patterns. Pattern number 1 is summarize. You're going to use this when you are absolutely drowning in information and just need the bottom line. But instead of just saying summarize this, a pro will say, summarize this article in 5 bullet points for an executive audience. By specifying that executive audience, you're explicitly telling the AI to cut out the fluff, ignore the minor details, and focus purely on strategic takeaways. It's a game changer. Have you ever drafted a really frustrated email to a client and then stared at it worrying you sound a bit too defensive? Well, pattern 2 is rewrite. This effectively turns the AI into your personal tone checker and editor. By giving it a prompt like, rewrite this email to sound more professional and concise, the AI takes your raw, messy thoughts and polishes them up into a highly diplomatic, business-ready message without losing your original intent. Next up is pattern 3, extract. Honestly, this one is arguably one of the most powerful time savers out there. Just imagine you've got this messy, unstructured 20-page meeting transcript. Instead of agonizing over it manually, you just drop it in with this prompt. Extract all dates, company names, and action items from this meeting transcript. Just like that, the AI becomes a data miner, instantly pulling out clean, actionable intelligence for you.
Let's move to pattern 4 and see how this builds. Pattern 4 is Brainstorm. When you're stuck and need a creative spark, the AI is a fantastic sounding board. But, and this is a big but, you absolutely must provide constraints. Try something like generate 10 creative marketing campaign ideas for an AI consulting company targeting enterprise clients. By defining exactly who the company is and who the audience is, you prevent the AI from spitting out generic nonsense like start a TikTok dance challenge, which, let's be real, is definitely not going to fly with enterprise clients. Pattern 5 is critique. Now, this is where you assign the AI a specific persona. By telling it to review this proposal like a CTO, you are forcing the model to view your text through a very specific, highly technical and critical lens. It's going to proactively hunt down high-level structural flaws, security gaps, or logical errors that you might have completely missed well before you ever put it in front of an actual client. Pattern 6 is compare. When you're stuck trying to make a tough decision between two complex things, ask the AI to organize it visually for you. Your prompt should look something like, compare a LangChain and LangGraph in a table with use cases, advantages, and limitations. Asking for a specific structural output like a table takes really dense, complicated data and instantly makes it readable and scannable. And bringing it home for this section, our final pattern, number 7, explain. This is your ultimate learning tool. The absolute magic here is dialing in the target audience. By prompting explain vector databases as if you're teaching a first-year engineering student, you perfectly scale the complexity. It's not going to bore you with a PhD-level research paper, and it won't patronize you with a toddler's bedtime story. You get exactly the level of technical depth you need to actually grasp the concept. All right, on to section 4, how to verify AI outputs. It is time to build your safety net. Because let's face it, that the stakes of blindly trusting an AI output can be massive for your career or your business. You absolutely need to adopt a trust but verify workflow. First up, always cross-check hard facts using trusted external sources. Don't skip this. Second, ask the AI to provide actual references for its claims. Third, and this is a really great trick, ask the AI to explain its reasoning step by step. You'd be amazed how often it catches its own logic errors when forced to explain itself. Fourth, if it's a critical decision, run the prompt through multiple models like ChatGPT and Claude's compare. And finally, never ever blindly trust generated numbers, statistics, or software code without testing it yourself. Finally, let's wrap things up with section 5, essential do's and don'ts. Think of this as the AI manager's rulebook. So the crucial point here is wrapping everything we just talked about into some essential do's that you should be implementing every single time you open an AI tool. Do, give clear background context. Do, assign the AI a role or a persona. Do, specify exactly who the audience is. Do, mention your exact output format, whether that's a cable, bullet points, whatever. Do, define your constraints like word count or specific tone. And most importantly, iterate. Actually, scratch that. Always iterate. If that first answer isn't perfect, refine your instructions and ask again. Using this structure practically guarantees professional results. On the flip side, here are your absolute don'ts. Please, don't ask vague, lazy questions. Don't just accept the very first answer without doing your verification checks. And most importantly, never trust AI for high-stakes legal, financial, or medical advice without rigorous human verification. Just don't do it. Don't ignore missing context. And finally, don't expect one giant, messy super prompt to solve a massively complex problem. You've got to break it down. Let's leave you with this final thought. Mastery of AI is not about memorizing some magic list of cheat codes. People who consistently get great AI results aren't using secret prompts. They are simply asking better questions. Learning to think clearly, communicate precisely, and refine your instructions, that's the real secret to transforming AI into your most reliable assistant. So, the next time you open up an AI tool, will you just be a passive user hoping for a lucky guess, or will you take charge as an active AI manager? The choice is entirely in your prompt. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.